This movie recap is sponsored by The Red Queen, and you're all going to enjoy this next trap recap, going all the way in. So the movie begins with our girl Elise, and after a lifelong of going to the further and teaching, she lost her husband and she's real sad. But she knows now that she has to get some money together because there ain't nothing around the house, right? So she cleans up, puts the urn away, just to finally, go all the way in. And then she goes to the bank looking for that dough. So she asks my man, like, yo, you got some money for me? And he's like, and it's gone. She's like, what? The fuck you talking about? And he's gonna tell her, like, yo, he had no money. He actually was in debt. And she's like, well, what do I do for money? Because I need money. I can't just live. And so she goes home and she has a little whiskey steak dinner. We see her neighbor over there. She about to step out the house for the day. She goes into the local skate park and, is watching the kids enjoy. And then the fuck boss come along, and they like, hey, what you doing here? You want some of that young meat, you little trick? And guess what? So she go ahead and take his skateboard, throws it in the trash, like, yo, you trash. So she goes to, the physical audio books, and then she picks out her favorite, and on the way out, she gets spammed by some ads to get rich quick, right? So she checks out the website, and it's about an Airbnb, so she's like, I'm getting down with that. Her first, renters show up. It's a couple. You can already tell that the woman is sweet, but her dude probably, a little weirdo. They check out the room. She shows up later without, asking to come in, saying, I got some fresh cookies, but fat fuck can only have one. Then she goes the next morning and she cooks some breakfast, but neither of them was eaten. So for some weird reason, she sniffs it, right? She gives it a little whiff. She's like, something wrong with it? And they're like, nah. And then they start, having a conversation about hard times, and Elise tells her she's been through the same thing. So they go on a hike and she tells her about how she never had kids and her husband really wasn't into that. And then they go back to the house where she's gonna check out, and she goes to give her the young shake, but she pulls it in for the real thing. And next thing you know, she over there at the young college, seeing if anybody needs to rent some rooms, and she comes by this young man, the young bull. So she rips that down. It's like, don't worry about that. They got lice, they got fleas, and they got ticks and bed bugs. So she brings her back to his spot. She's like, yo, check out my spot. I got the real deal. It's hot over there. It's not no trap house. So on her way back from the store with her cat food, she run into fuck bars and they give her a hard time. But they don't want to just be fuck bars this time. This time they want to go all out. So, he starts to Harvey Weinstein her. And it's not really that cool. Fuck boy level 9,000. You know what I'm saying? And she had enough. So she kisses him back. Like, you want this? You want that sugar mama life? And she just loses it after he smacks him. This is when she realized she had enough and just chokes him up. She on that white woman rage stuff right there. And she don't want nobody touching her. So the next day after Guy moves in, she's going through his stuff, trying to get his smells on her, and maybe she takes it a little too far, because she takes the toothbrush and she gets ill to it, real ill with it, and it's like a fetish for her, something. He really goes all out and gets kind of nasty with it, and then Carlos pops up on her like, yo, what you doing in here, ma? And she's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm just making your bed, young lad. Go watch the football game. And he goes out there sipping. She's like, I'll get you another bed, Zaddy. And then there comes a knock at the window. She checks it out. You never gonna believe who it is. Fuckboy exclusives, man. They really can't get enough. So Carlos goes out there to check him, right? He's like, hey, y'all need to go ahead and leave this old lady alone. She ain't done nothing. And he's like, you know what? Fuck you. And Operation Takeoff is executed at this point. He comes in and lets her know that they ain't gonna be a bother no more, and she tells him that he earned the extra dessert tonight. So while he's chilling, she calls him into the bathroom, And oh, she's in the bathtub with the lights dim, asking for a towel. But he's like, you know what, here's the towel, but I gotta go. Then in the morning, she come out asking for a ride on the bike in the town, looking like she ready to hit the track. And he tells her he can't do that because he doesn't have a helmet. Guess who shows up? Old girl, yeah. And she shows her around, tells her she's staying for a sec, shows her the Facebook pics that she been posting in the stories about Carlos. She meets him, says hello. She told me about your Facebook. And he's like, are you on the gram or what? And she gives him a little smile, like, maybe. We'll have to see. He's like, okay, cool. She shows up at his door later, and he's like, yo, can I help you? Because I really like to help. Yo, necesito. And she says, yo, you seem like a bad boy, and you can have that Old Spice if you like. And walks away and says, or you can have this young sugar. So, in a little bit, he proceeds to beat. Know what I mean? That's what he does. And he breaks her off a little something, and sneaking away a little bit later after that. And then it gets kind of weird in the morning because they looking at each other all funny, and she can tell, so she spills the juice, she spills the tea, and they're like, oh, we'll clean it up. And she's like, we? Y'all speak French now up in this mug? And then later on, she come out and try to, confess and apologize, and she ain't trying to hear it. She's like, you know what? I always knew you was a hooker, but if you're gonna come around here, you better be making money off that. She gets all upset and walks away, and then sees the neighbor and goes over and talks to her for some reason. And the neighbor is really down to give her the scoop. She's like, oh, hey, little precious thing. Oh, you over there with my ex-girl, Elise. Elise see him talking, and she drops some knowledge on her about what happened in the past and tells her, maybe she should get out of there. Elise calls her back over and tells her, hey, you need to bounce. Grab your stuff and get on. Cause you ain't nothing around here, and you still owe me $20. And as she's leaving, she hits her with the hi bitch, bye bitch. Then goes and sees her old neighbor friend, sees she's asleep, and gives her the long kiss goodnight and goodbye at the same dang time. This is when we realize that Elise is an OG and ain't nothing to play with. She even puts the extra oomph into it. A face like that'll give you nightmares for the rest of your life. So Carlos comes back to Elise putting on a award-winning performance, and she's like, I need some love, and pulls it in close. Then out of nowhere, Mr. Gigi shows up, and he's dropping off a pack that's labeled for Carlos from Mexico. So she goes to the doc and tells the doc, oh, I can't sleep. I've been up for like 3 days. Give me some pills. And with those pills, she sits our man Carlos down to dinner and pretty much hits him with the Cardi B. Everything got a little bit of something in it. And he tells her, I would have put it on you if you was a little bit younger, and then falls out flat. She grabs the key to his locker, and in the locker, she finds the pack, yeah. And she sees that there's a little candy for the nozzle, for the nasal. And she's like, well, I'm going to take it to the next level. And now she is geeked up. Starts dragging him around, setting him up for failure. And then pretty much goes into the Bill Cosby. Starts playing with his chest hair and checking him out down low. Just doing everything that is pretty much harassment. Something to be scared by. So he goes and checks his email, and Lise goes and knocks him out because he's talking about he's going to leave. So she clunks him over the head, KOs him, and she checks his email. Come to find out, homegirl got pregnant and was letting him know about it, and so he was gonna leave to go see her, but instead she finishes up the whiskey, buries him, calls her to come back, makes amends, shows her the tree that she planted saying new beginnings, tells her she wants her to take over the house because she just came up on a windfall and she is about to go to France for a little bit, for about 9 months. So homegirl's gonna hold down the spot till she gets back. write her book that she's been trying to work on, pet the cat a little bit, if you know what I mean. And she wants to go check out Carlos's old room, but it's locked, so she doesn't even worry about it and just gets on with her life. But come to find out, inside the room is a little baby set up that says Grandma loves you, and you can take that as you will. But after that, the movie's over, and I ain't leave nothing out. For real. So